Our next speaker is Brandon Smith. He's the founder of the Alt Market Project, which works to promote decentralization, localism, and de-globalization of human economic systems. He is back at the Oath Keepers booth if you want to check out his, he has a compilation of some of his writings. Brandon, come on up.
Greetings, fellow travelers in liberty. How are you guys? I'm going to get a little serious on you guys, maybe even a little extreme. I hope you don't mind. I'm also reading my speech from the paper here. I'm cheating. It's not good. You need a teleprompter, and you need Henry Kissinger to write your speeches for you in order to be successful. So, America is on the brink. We all feel it, and even in our society, those of us who are unaware of the facts are beginning to sense something that's uneasy. It's as if a shadow looms just over our shoulder. Years ago, I wrote an essay on the greatest warning signs of impending economic collapse, from food and fuel inflation to foreign markets decoupling from the US dollar. But the primary signal on my list was the open admission of criminality on the part of international banks, as well as open collusion between those banks, the Federal Reserve, regulators, and our own government. When the criminals no longer care if the public discovers their trespasses, when conspirators are no longer concerned with the discovery of their collaborations, it is time to become concerned. It is a sign that they no longer believe that we, as honor-bound individuals, will do anything to stop them. With the advent of the recent LIBOR scandal, among many other things, I think we have reached that terrible moment. Global banks now openly and readily admit their fraud. They admit that this manipulation was used to hide their real debts and the truly dismal state of our economy since 2008. The private Federal Reserve has admitted full knowledge of the situation. And our own Treasury even defends the scam as if it was necessary to the health of the nation and of the world. If this is not collusion, if this is not conspiracy, then I don't know what is. The new talking point from the perpetrators is, hey, without our noble lies, the country will fall into calamity. Not only do the elites openly showcase their misdeeds, they now expect us to be grateful for them. When the financial structure of a nation or a group of nations becomes casually hostile to honest business and real free markets, obviously there's nothing left to trust. Such a system becomes a deterrent to growth and prosperity for everyone except a select few. Over the course of the past 5 years, we've seen America sink into perhaps the worst credit crisis in history, with liabilities stemming from the derivatives bubble nightmare that are so massive, they cannot even be accurately calculated. We have seen the very first downgrade of America's once untarnished credit rating. We have seen our foreign creditors, especially China, quietly establish bilateral trade agreements with multiple developing nations, agreements that remove the use of the dollar as the world reserve standard, which is the last thin thread our economy hangs on to today. Because of the forced interdependency of engineered globalization, not only do we have to cringe in expectation of the failings of our own economy, but we also suffer through the effects of the breakdown in the EU. And finally, we have seen the IMF, the apex predator of the financial world, the morally bankrupt center of globalism, the creepy uncle of international lending, offer to help save us all by taking more centralized and administrative roles in the oversight of the banking sector. They even have a new global currency, the SDR, to aid us when circumstances become just desperate enough. It is easy to turn to fear in times like these. It is easy to become cynical in the extreme. It is easy to throw our hands in the air and live day to day, just hoping that when it all hits the fan, maybe we'll be long retired and past caring. It is tempting to pass off the burden of one's era. In the worst of moments, and at the height of disaster, it is easy to say, why me? Why now? We all have some fear in us. However, only lack of preparation gives that fear power. I have very little fear for the future, and I'll tell you why. The Ron Paul movement, or what some call the Liberty movement, is ready to shift its energies and its efforts into a wider array of solutions. We have tried our hand in the trials of politics and should continue to do so. But the time has come to attack the problem of globalism and centralization from other angles. I'm often confronted with people who complain that all the movement does is point out the impending catastrophe while offering no answers. First of all, let's be clear, public awareness is and always will be the ultimate answer to the crisis on the horizon. Awareness must remain a #1 priority. But I do agree that we can do more. With dedication and sacrifice and unrelenting will, the Liberty movement could change the direction of this country in a very short period of time. If the elites want centralization of control over the economy and of our lives, then we must decentralize our system and return to independence. We must walk away from the mainstream and construct our own better framework. We must take back our local economies using barter networks and alternative currencies with tangible value. This starts not at the federal level. It starts in your neighborhoods, your town, and your counties. How many people does it take to start a barter market? 2 people. 2 people. Get on it. Call your friends. Call your family. Make it happen. Get it started right now. Multiple countries in the EU at this very moment are operating primarily on barter markets because of the economic collapse, or what governments will call black markets. But really, who cares what they call it? Who cares? Just as in Europe, they can't stop us all. They can't even stop most of us. Rediscover your ability to actually produce necessary goods and services within your community. Build a micro-industry. Supply each other and create truly free markets together. This is the way economies operated for thousands of years, long before the creation of fiat currencies and the fraudulent Keynesian government-funded slave plantations. Take self-sufficient, become self-sufficient if possible. Grow your own food, produce your own electricity. Take an objective look at how reliant you are on the system. If everything were to shut down tomorrow, how well would you fare? Make a list and work to diminish your weaknesses. And most of all, return to legitimate community. Not collectivism, not conformity, but community. Individuals retaining their sovereignty who also help each other because they want to, because it means something to them, not because they are forced to participate through the abuse of law, taxation, and government enforcement. The less we need the corrupt system, the more insignificant it becomes to the populace. At this point, the oligarchs have 2 choices. They can fade away into the dustbin of history, or they can try to coerce us into dependency once again. Some might argue that the latter is inevitable, that our move towards localization and self-sufficiency will draw the authoritarian ire of the powers that be. If that is the case, if it really does come to that, then we do what every other oppressed culture has ever done when their ability to live freely and prosperously on their own merit has been stolen away. We take our liberties back. We take them back. If that means a fight, so be it. The establishment has created this conflict. We have merely taken a stand in defense of our defining principles and our natural rights. We are not the aggressors. We are the watchers on the wall. We are doing exactly what we must do, doing exactly what other great women, men and women before us have done. I have little fear of the future, because the liberty movement exists. It is real, it is vibrant, and it is alive. And I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind that generations to come will be ever grateful for the battle that we wage here now. Thank you.